Kangaroo! Throwing!
The top 10 worst Kenner Star Wars toys. Here we are back in the toy closet, and if you're like me, you grew up on Kenner. From the Star Wars Kenner toys, to the Superpower toys, to Jurassic Park, to Mask. In the 80s and 90s, Kenner was the toy for boys. And girls, let's face it. Girls like Kenner also. But even a great company like Kenner makes mistakes. So here's our list of the top 10 worst Star Wars Kenner toys. They, unlike most of the Star Wars Kenner toys, were not in the movies. That alone puts the Kenner Star Wars mini rigs at number 10. 9! Sure, everybody loves the Ewoks, and they were fun to play with. You could have them even ride the speeder bike. But did you really need a glider to drop bombs with them? No, you didn't. It didn't even come with a figure. If it came with a figure, it might have escaped this top 10 list. But it didn't. It just came with a plastic boulder and some wings. So that's why the Kenner Ewok glider, I got it right, it took about 10 times. That's why the glider makes it into number 9 of the top 10 worst Kenner toys.
8.
General Medine! Yes, General Medine makes our list. He's just an old man in a line that didn't even make a Tarkin figure, but they just felt the need to make General Medine. He didn't even come with a gun. What did he come with? This. A white toothpick, so he could point at things. General Medine ranks into our top 10 at number 8. 7! First, we got this toy as a Jawa playset, and then we got it as a Hoth playset. But they tried to fool us a third time. This time as the Rebel base on Hoth. But what makes this one make the rank but not the other two? The Jawa came with a cardboard sandcrawler with an elevator. And the AT-AT came with the Hoth playset with a working elevator. What did we get with the command center? A backdrop of the Rebel base. It did nothing. This playset, reused twice already, added no play value that you didn't already have. All it had is a little cave that you could have squeezed a Ugnut or a Jawa into. And they weren't even on Hoth.
6.
6?
And what do kids want to play with the most? A dead old man! That's right, Anakin Skywalker makes our list at number 6. Anakin appeared in the film, 11 seconds? And he was a ghost. This figure didn't even bother to make him look like a ghost. And of course he didn't come with a saber, but he didn't even come with a white stick to point at stuff. So that's why Anakin Skywalker haunts his way into number 6 on this list.
5.
Tickles me, I'll tell you why.
We all know it gets cold on Hoth, and we all know how batteries react on those snow speeders in the snow. They needed to be jumped off. But did we need to play with a toy that did it? Yes, the vehicle maintenance energizers, that's what it did. It was to charge your snow speeder. I think, I'm not even sure. And believe it or not, this thing was actually in the movie. The vehicle maintenance energizer jump-starts its way into the top 5 at number 5.
I just adore 4, the number for me.
And Kenner tried to trick us again. This time they re-released a playset that we already had with a lot less value. First, this playset was released as a Droid Factory. An amazing little toy where you could build your own droids. Even a 3-legged R2-D2. And that was the only way to get a 3-legged R2-D2 in the Kenner line. However, this time, Kenner just gave us the base. They did include 3 action figures, but that's all it came with. The 3 figures and the base. It did absolutely nothing. No sounds. Nothing. No elevator. No crank. Nothing. It just sat there and had a little, I don't know what it was. A little, it wasn't worth it. Even for the 3 figures. Unless you were lucky enough to get the 3 Power of the Force figures that are pretty rare today. That is worth it. But that's worth it now and not then. So we can't count that. So the Jabba Dungeon locks itself in the top 5 at number 4.
Riding on a tide.
Kenner couldn't have Star Wars figures ready by Christmas of 1977. So what did they do? Hey, the next best thing, they sold an empty box with a promise that you'll get 3 figures early in 1978. That's right, you got an empty box with cardboard and a promise of action figures. What did Billy get for Christmas? $6 Million Man toys! And what did Johnny get? An empty cardboard box of a promise to get a toy later. The early bird catches itself at number 3.
Holy cow, it's number 2.
One of the coolest movie sets in Star Wars history has to be Cloud City. So you know it got a cool-ass playset, right? No, it got a backdrop, a cardboard backdrop yet again. This was the 3rd time Sears released exclusively, I can't say that, but you know what I mean. This is the 3rd time Sears released one. First was the Cantina Avenger set, which came with 3 figures, including the rare blue Snaggletooth. Why does Cloud City playset outrank the Creature Adventure set? It's easy, because Cloud City was a great playset to be made. They could have had the Carbon Freezing Chamber playset, Bespin, anything. But we didn't get a Cloud City playset at all. Nothing. And it was so perfect. Every kid wanted to freeze Han Solo. So the forecast for the Cloud City playset is number 2. That leaves us with the number 1 worst Kenner Star Wars toy.
Cuckoo. Cuckoo. Cuckoo.
First we got an old man with a stick. And then we got an old dead man with nothing. And then Kenner gave us the Imperial Dignitary, a businessman action figure. We got another old man action figure. At least I think he's a man. For the 1985 Power of the Force line, Kenner's last line. What makes this so bad, this was a line where Kenner was trying to bring blood back into the Star Wars line. And this is what they thought would do it. Not Governor Tarkin. Not a Han Solo stormtrooper. Imperial Dignitary. This is what they thought kids would want to play with and put down their He-Man and come back to Star Wars for. Imperial Dignitary. Again, based on a figure hardly in the movie, which is nothing new for Kenner, but for the aliens, at least it added some play value. Who would want to play with this? No one would want to play with this. Look at it. It even has bell bottoms. The Imperial Dignitary is by far the single stupidest, worst Star Wars Kenner action figure ever made. And try to find one with paint on his nose. Good luck. Actually, this one's got one pretty good, so that's not a good example. But it's hard to find one without the paint scrubbed off his nose. I don't know why. But again, the worst Kenner Star Wars action figure of all times, Imperial... I can't say it. The worst Kenner action figure of all times, the Imperial Dignitary. There he is, with his purple hat and his bell bottoms. This has been Star Wars Junk. Thank you for watching, and this was the top 10 worst Kenner Star Wars toys ever. You don't agree, or you got some we may have missed, leave them in the comments below. And check us out, StarWarsJunk.net.
Cookie! Ah!